Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting, well, it's maybe not that exciting to you, but to me, I'm actually thrilled to be here, of my own program called Tosh Talks, produced by Book Soup. Usually, every episode I talk about my favorite book or books, and I actually want to discuss slightly a particular series published by Reaktion Books. Reaction Books are located in London, England, United Kingdom, for those people. And they have a series called Critical Lives, which sounds deadly serious and kind of hard to read. But that is not the case. It's actually, all of them are enjoyable, and I read all of them. What they do, they focus on particular individuals of the 20th and the 19th century. Most of them are in the avant-garde, and most of them are in the arts or in philosophy. And what they do is talk about these difficult individuals and what they do, which is sometimes hard to understand or tricky of some sort, make it very clear and understandable, but not talking down to its audience. And these books are intelligently written, well researched, and they're all under 200 pages. Most of them are like probably around the 150-page line. And you also got a biography in the end, and all that sort of information in case you want to read on about these particular people. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of my favorite subject matters or books by this series, Critical Lives by Reaktion Books. One is Erik Satie, who is a composer of the from 19-teens to the 1920s. He died, I think, in the late 20s. He's known as to be a eccentric, I guess, a strange man. Apparently, he only ate food that was white. There's vegans, there's vegetarian, but he only ate food that was white. Fascinating book, and I don't want you to think the whole book is about his diet. It isn't. He was quite a flamboyant, eccentric character, as I mentioned, and he, in a way, invented ambient music that's played in the background where you don't play, you don't pay any attention to. And he composed music just to be in the background. In fact, he got kind of pissed off if you mentioned the music to him while it's being played in the background. So that's Erik Satie. A person that nobody understands, yet quite fascinating, is Wittgenstein. Very good biography on Wittgenstein, and it actually explains Wittgenstein's work that's totally accessible. Well, I won't say totally, but it's getting damn close to it. And Wittgenstein was just a fascinating, obsessive personality, and this book captures that obsession that this man had, and the whole Vienna life of the teens and 20s. Fascinating person, Wittgenstein. My favorite pervert is Georges Bataille, and basically his whole philosophy, well, it's definitely deviant, sexual, perverse stuff. The worst thing you can think you can do to somebody sexually, Bataille wrote about it. So I'll let your imagination go there. If you want to know more about it, you can read this particular book. And Stuart Kendall, who wrote the book, has a real good understanding of Bataille's work. Bataille wrote fiction, theory, wrote about art, wrote about photography, anthropology, all in a sort of sexual context of some sort, which makes it very fascinating. It's an excellent book. And then dandies, we have Charles Baudelaire. I think everybody's favorite poet, and if it's not your favorite poet, don't even talk to me. It goes into his writings in a great deal, but also goes into his life, which was totally a deviant, decadent, disgusting, to be quite honest, life, and that's why we love him, Mr. Baudelaire. A person who appreciated Baudelaire, Walter Benjamin, who was a critic. Fascinating biography on this gentleman. And also we have another fellow dandy and interesting man who's Jean Cocteau, filmmaker, playwright, author, man about town, sort of like me in a way. Jean Cocteau, excellent book. And last but not least, there's more in this series. I'm just choosing the ones I really like right now, like today. Tomorrow will be a different subject matter. Guy Debord, who was the head of the Situationist International, or International Situationists, And he wrote the book called Sight of the Spectacle, which is probably a must-read for everyone who can read a book. And if you can't even read a book, you can't read it. It's very good if you take it into a cafe with you, just showing the cover to everyone. I find women are very attractive to people who read Guy Debord's Sight of the Spectacle. Why? Well, you can just read this little biography, which is very, very accessible, like the others. It's an excellent book, a beautiful cover, red, and it deals with Paris life of the late 40s to like the 70s. That's his main time period. And he's kind of a mysterious figure, and it's a totally fascinating book. Guy Debord by Andy Merrifield. Excellent, accessible book again. So again, all these people are incredibly intelligent, incredibly smart, and quite fashionable, and known to be difficult in their writings, but actually they're not. And this series of books explain who these artists are, these thinkers are, make it very accessible, and it will, not after you read this, you definitely would want to read the works again or read it the first time. Welcome to the last, not the last, but for today, the last of Tosh Talks. Thank you. Bye-bye.